Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the White Hatter YouTube News Update Show.
Scene 2, check 2. The one that we recorded earlier, my mic wasn't on.
Yes, we're back. We're back here an hour later after we realized someone's mic wasn't on.
Whose? Are you looking at me?
Yours.
Bloody boomer. Yeah, I know. We were testing too, but your mic was picking up on my sound, so that's why we thought it was live, right? So, but now, hey, we're back. What's on the show?
Okay. Got some really important topics to talk about. Let's go into some news.
In the news.
First news topic for today is we're going to talk about Xbox.
Oh, hey, can you, the new Xbox that's out right now, can you order one for Christmas?
If you can get any. No.
Really? They're hard to find right now?
Yeah.
So what's going on?
So this has nothing to do with the new Xbox. This has to do with anyone who has an Xbox Live account. So essentially, a hacker found a vulnerability in Xbox Live where essentially they were able, if they knew someone's gamer tag, they were able to extract the email address attached to that account, which then you could use to search that email address and find passwords, and so it's a whole... Was
this like a really difficult hack, or...?
According to the hacker, when they shared this with Motherboard, it was all... apparently they said
Who's
this...
Motherboard?
It's a subsidiary of Vice, and they're just a news organization.
Right. Yeah. So what
happened? And they're the ones who reported this to Microsoft.
So this wasn't a bounty fine?
Not that it was mentioned in the article.
And so what's a bounty fine too, just so that people know what that means?
Basically, organizations, Microsoft, Sony, Amazon have programs where if you're a hacker, you find an issue, tell them first, and they'll give you money. Oh.
So this wasn't one of the bounty programs?
The article didn't say anything about bounties. Okay. So basically, apparently, according to the hacker, this was the easiest vulnerability they've ever done.
The easiest?
The easiest.
Yeah. So, but it's being fixed now, right?
It's been fixed now, but apparently when they shared with Motherboard, they said they were using the vulnerability thousands of times.
Do you have a PS?
I have a PlayStation, but I don't have an Xbox.
Here's my question. Would you rather play on PlayStation or PC?
PC. Always PC.
Why?
PCs are more powerful, and well, PCs can be more powerful, and there's a lot more customizability and options to play.
Oh. What's there's a new game coming out on PC you've been waiting for. Like, you've been waiting for this, right? You've actually told us that you're going to go MIA, missing in action, for about a week when this thing comes out. What is it?
We still have work we have to do that week.
I know, but what is it?
Cyberpunk?
Sorry. And is that with the Keanu Reeves, right?
Yes.
Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
So what's so special? Why is everybody waiting for this one? Because everybody's been waiting for it, right? And there was a delay in it.
It's just a massive game.
Is it a multiplayer game, or
they're going to release a multiplayer version of it probably late next year?
So this is just a single player
RPG, story based.
Oh wow!
Yes,
you're looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I mean,
how long are you going to be out of action for?
Well, apparently a developer who's testing it has said they've put in 100 hours, and they haven't finished it yet. So I mean, so I'll be out here doing work and live streaming, but when I'm not needing to do that, I'll be. Well, my partner also uses the computer for streaming, so I'll have to fight her for that.
Okay, so what you're telling me is what's yours is hers and what hers is hers.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, it's like our relationship. It's like mom and dad's relationship. Same thing. What's mine is hers and what's hers is hers.
Well, we've agreed that, I will write down some times I'm going to give to her and to you that basically tells everyone in the household, don't talk to me, don't message me, don't call me, because I won't be available.
Oh, God, that's funny. That's funny.
Yes.
You're looking forward to it, though, right? You've been looking forward for a while. How much is it?
So downloads, I think it's like $65 or so.
Cool.
So, average price for
cool.
game. Yeah. So
you've shown me some of the graphics that are coming out, and it's like,
yes,
wow, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Xbox, this thing's been fixed, but people ask us all the time. Gamers, how did someone get my email address? Well, this could be a way.
Yeah, nothing's ever private, right?
So we're recording this on Monday,
which
means it's Cyber Monday right now.
It is.
So, and Black
Friday...
And our mics are wrong. And Black Friday happened, so a lot of people are buying tech products, naturally. Right. And so one organization decided to do a little investigation.
And just before we go there, just for Cal, Monday comes after Friday, but depending upon the week, it becomes before Friday. Think about that one, Cal. Got his name back in there again, eh? Okay. So I love the graphic on this. What's this one all about?
So the organization decided to do some investigation on smart doorbells.
Those don't look like the doorbells
I know. No, so these are knockoffs. So these are not mainstream products. These
I know where you're
are
going
cheap
with this.
third party, and people and parents. Some of them have been highly rated or top bestseller on Amazon. Right?
And these are big business this Christmas season, right? Like these are one of the hot items this Christmas, and I think primarily because of what's going on because of COVID, we're getting all these packages delivered to our doors now, and the criminal element knows that, and the Christmas Grinch is following Purelator and UPS trucks around waiting from the drop, and then they wait a couple minutes, and then they're going in and scanning the pictures, right? So people are installing these to help deal with that as well. But because these are knockoffs, what are the issues?
They looked at 7 doorbells, camera doorbells, and some issues they found. One had a vulnerability where, a well-known vulnerability that hasn't been fixed, where basically it's able to get the password to the home Wi-Fi network. So someone could access the doorbell remotely through the Wi-Fi, get the password to the Wi-Fi network to then potentially access other devices.
That are connected to the home network.
Yes. One, lack of encryption. Some storing videos on the cloud on non-encrypted, non-US servers, namely Chinese servers.
Yeah, China.
Some just collect so much information that's unreasonable. Some that store passwords locally, but don't on the device, but there's no proper mounting hardware. So people can just walk up,
take the device.
see they're on camera, and just take the device, and there's the evidence as it walks away.
But what if the evidence is uploaded to the cloud?
That's fine, but some of them don't have that function. Some of them they store locally on the device.
Oh my God.
So basically, moral of the story is don't buy cheap third-party internet access cameras.
Yeah, I mean,
Like this is not the Ring or anything, but then again, Ring has its own problems.
issues that we're going to talk about. But I mean, the reality is these are hot items, and people are looking for a cheap way to put things on, and this is one of them. And these knockoffs, they don't have privacy by design built into them or security by design, right? It's just manufacture these things in large amounts and then get them out there on the market, and people are buying them, right? So, I mean, I'm still considering buying like one for the house, not one of these, like a good one. Like I'm just thinking about it, right? Like I've got one in my car. Like I've got a dash cam, and primarily the reason why I put it in the car is because pre-COVID, we were doing so much driving, especially into the U.S. It's good to have video evidence in case you're involved in an accident. I mean, there's no doubt that if somebody's going to steal a parcel or do something, these things will pick that up.
Yeah, but you forget we live on like a mountain.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, to get up to our house, it's like hiking the. Or even driving up, it's like going up.
See, some people like the
Everest,
sidewalk is like 5 steps from their door.
Yeah, no.
No. For us, it's like a hike.
I mean, a good example, last Christmas, if you remember this, Mom and Dad, we were going Christmas shopping, and I saw a person who was following a postal service, and the ex-cop in me, right? Like, you could tell this person was in crime mode. We called it crime mode when I was working on a surveillance team, and you could tell they were in crime mode. And we watched them. The mailman will go in and drop off parcels, and then the person will come in behind and take. So I was actually recording all of this on my cell phone. I said, "Mom, Beth, phone the RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police." Right? They wear the red uniform,
big hats,
and that kind of stuff for the American people.
Big boots too.
Yeah, big boots. That's their dress uniform, not their regular uniform. But anyway, so it took them 15, 20 minutes to get there because they're so busy and they're so understaffed, unfortunately. But they finally got this person, arrested him, and I was expecting to go to court, but the person pled guilty because it was an ex-cop who watched it, and I had it all recorded on my phone. It was priceless, right?
On an iPhone, so like 4K quality.
But we now know that the criminal element, I mean, what they're doing, I saw this, right? Because a lot of Purelators and other organizations like UPS and that kind of stuff, they go to parking lots, right? And they share the parcels. They all pull into the parking lot and they share the parcels where they're going to be delivering. And the criminal element were learning that. So what they would do is they would sit outside the parking lots and look at these, and then they would follow the van to where they were going to drop off the gifts or the boxes or the parcels, and then they just rip them off, right? So anyway, so that's why I think these things are becoming so popular for that reason. So yeah, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Speaking of smart technology, given Cyber Monday, Amazon Prime, these things always go on super
this
sale.
one's creepy.
Amazon got some backlash on this new program they announced, which is called their Sidewalk feature. So what they're proposing to do,
nice name, Sidewalk
is
feature.
with their Alexa and other smart devices, is build a community level mesh network.
That's exactly what it is. It's not a sidewalk network. It is a mesh network. And what does that mean?
Essentially, all devices connect to each other and share data. So basically, your Amazon device connects to your neighbor's Amazon device, that connects to their neighbor's Amazon device, in a way to build a network that can reach the community so anyone can access the internet.
Okay. So couple questions. Number one, this is on by default.
Yeah, so that's
Like, why? That's just creepy. So why would they ever do that? It should be an opt-in.
Yeah, so that's what they're got a lot of trouble for is not only like the idea of your neighbor connecting to your Alexa device and
Hey
doing.
Siri, what's my neighbor doing in the bathroom?
I don't think that's the issue necessarily.
Whatever. Hey Siri, what's my
Could
neighbor
there be a
doing?
vulnerability? Sure, but it's not necessarily. I'm thinking more in terms of your neighbor maybe pirating movies
I know!
24/7, like bogging down your network.
That's what slowed down my network,
or
right?
doing something that they really shouldn't be doing, and then your house gets
Like, hold on.
assigned a
I'm
lawsuit.
going to connect Keith's Wi-Fi here so I can surf Pornhub, right? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you allow somebody to access your Wi-Fi network? Number one, it'll slow down potentially and number two, people could be downloading stuff. Like, it's just creepy that Amazon put this on by default.
Well, I mean, they're trying to compete against Elon Musk because Elon Musk, who's now launching their Skylink.
Isn't that what was in Terminator?
That's Skynet.
Oh, okay.
This is Skylink, as we know of at this point in time. Basically, they're satellite systems that circle the globe.
Yeah, it's like a
and
GPS
then
system,
You
right?
can get internet to your house via satellites from Elon Musk, which I mean, kind of cool. But so I'm
What
assuming
movie is that from?
Austin Powers.
$1 million. I'm going to control the world.
So I'm assuming this is like Amazon's attempt at trying to have their share of the community
creepy.
world market.
It's creepy.
Of internet.
It's
Yeah.
creepy. Like and so
interesting.
they should. I mean, there's been a big movement over the past couple of years of opting in, right? Not opting out, but opting in functions. Anything that comes with a phone, you have to purposely opt into it rather than having it on by default. Like, that's just ridiculous that they're doing that, right? And so it's just creepy.
Yeah, it's.
Hey, Alexa, what's Keith doing in his bathroom?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they had it as an opt-in function, maybe it'd be less. But then what's for Amazon for this program to be successful? They need like at least 90% coverage.
Yeah,
right.
You don't think
would just-
hackers are going to try and do some stuff?
I'm sure they'll try,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm sure Amazon will fix the issue. But
yeah.
it's more in terms of bogging down your network, using your network for maybe nefarious purposes. That's kind of my concern there.
Yeah, it's creepy.
So
This is creepy.
yeah, we'll see.
It's creepy.
Interesting article that you put in the notes for today
Yeah.
is this article from Wire talking about not sharing your passwords with your partner.
We talk about this one in our school presentations, right? Because as you know, you've done this as well. How many, after a partnership breaks up, whoever the partner is, there's a split up. If you get one who's jilted because it's not if they don't both agree to splitting and maybe you got a jilted partner, that jilted partner, because they know your passcode, will go in, say and do things and change the password, and then you can't get in and fix it. Now people think it's you instead of me.
Right.
So, one of the things that we've said, and you do a lot of work with the BC transition houses here in British Columbia, right? Like you've doing some work with them, doing some really cool work with them. And we've helped a number of spouses who have left relationships where their ex-spouse is now using digital and technology to continue on with their control, right? So one of the things that I share with the students, and I even share with the adults, is that the day before you leave a relationship, for whatever reason, even if it's on even grounds that you're splitting, always change your password the day before. Why? Because it'll prevent stuff like this from happening. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people say that you never should ever share your password. Well, that's pretty tough to do when you're in a relationship.
Share
right?
bank account.
Like mom and dad, we share a number of accounts, right? But the reality is that no matter what the relationship, if you're deciding to leave that relationship, the day before you leave, change your passwords, because it will help prevent a lot of this from happening. And trust me when I say that we've helped out a number of teens and adults who, after leaving a relationship, the partner is so jilted over it, so angry, that they now go in and do horrible things within the social media platforms and then change passwords.
Certainly things to think about.
For sure, yeah. So things to think about, right?
And the last little, not article, but a cool resource that you came across
This came
is
my attention.
This website that apparently is collecting virtual reality, or no, it's 360-degree cameras
It's cool.
for parks and museums.
It's cool.
So you can visit these places around the world, like museums, without leaving your house.
It is so cool. Like when I found this, I went into a couple, like I went in Egypt, right? The pyramids, a couple of things in Egypt, had a couple look at those, and it's so cool because they use this camera technology. It's almost like 3D. It's almost as if you're there. You're not, but it's virtual, and it just allows you to have a look at some of these places that maybe pre-COVID you would think about going to visit. Well, now you can actually visit it virtually. What's cool about this one is that it's a really good family app where you and your kids can sit down, and if they're interested in the pyramids, you can go to a museum specifically on pyramids, and it's like you're walking through the museum, right? It's so cool. And then after COVID, what's really cool about this is that post-COVID, as we come out of it, and I'm thinking maybe this time next year, once all the vaccines are going around and stuff, that, you know, if all of a sudden you visit a museum, say in Italy, maybe that might be a place you now want to visit real time, where you're going to travel there and have a look. So what I really like about this, it's PG, right? It's for everyone basically, and it allows you to travel around the world to see a whole bunch of. I went to the motorcycle.
Not many here in Canada though. It was like two.
No, there's two. But I went to the motorcycle museum down in the United States from Harley Davidson. Oh, so cool, right? So it's just a really cool way to sit back with your family for 45 minutes if you want, or an hour, depends, and just go and visit around the world and do it in a way where it's safe, right? Now you were talking about maybe it'd be smart for this group to kind of maybe think about gamifying this.
I mean, I was thinking like you're doing a virtual walkthrough. What about when they're getting like the media, when they have these giant like Google Dome things that take pictures everywhere. They just put like little Easter eggs, little like hidden messages.
What's an Easter egg?
Like a secret message or something to find.
Yeah.
It's not apparent, but it's there. Or if it's close to Easter, actually put Easter eggs.
You know what you should do is you should send a message to the group who's put this together and said, hey, listen, have you thought about maybe putting some Easter eggs in some of these things? Because I think that's a great idea.
I'm not entirely sure. Like there's no information on the website on how to actually get like your museum or park onto this map. I don't entirely know what the process is for that, but I mean, at least it's something there. It's kind of cool too.
It was. I was fascinated. Like the Egyptian one was just really cool. The Harley Davidson one was really cool. They got some there of some caves and caving and that. I was going to go look at that, but I just didn't. But it's just a really good way to sit down with your family and visit some really cool places virtually. And the technology that they use, it's almost as if they're wearing like some kind of goggles as they're walking around. Like
it's probably a 360 camera, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Insta 360. There's other 360 cameras, so you can just get on a stick and just walk around.
It would be cool if it's probably virtual reality too, because you put on the VR goggles and stuff.
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to get a VR set for the studio.
Oh no. We've bought enough. Speaking of which, because we come to the end, we've got some cool updates coming on here in the studio, right?
Yeah, there might be another camera being added into the studio, which is kind of cool.
You just added a top down. Show them the top down camera.
Top down camera?
Yeah. Ready?
There you go.
Ready?
Top down.
Hey, Cal! Look, you're looking down on my hands right now. Woohoo! That's kind of cool, right? So it's kind of cool, and you've got another camera that we're doing. I mean, what's really cool is, you know, out of COVID, I really feel sorry for a lot of businesses here in Victoria, around the world right now. A lot of businesses have gone bankrupt. They're closing because there's no way to support, like restaurants and bars and small boutiques and that kind of stuff. But, COVID for us really pushed us to have a look at things differently. So, out of COVID, I think there was lots of negatives, but for us, there were some positive, which is reframing, right? A pivot to what it is we're doing and how we're doing it virtually. And I think... Actually, no, I don't think. I know that this is going to be here, a part of what we do now forever, because there are schools around the world that just can't bring us in because it's too expensive to bring us in, but we can now do it virtually. And what's really cool is a number of the schools have had us in face-to-face. And we love face-to-face because we feed off the energy of the crowd, right? There's nothing better than a face-to-face presentation. But a number of schools have said, you know what, Darren, we've had you face-to-face and we've had this, and the kids are actually liking this one as well. And I said, really? Why? And they said, well, because they're doing it in smaller cohorts. So instead of us standing...
we beam into like 5 classrooms at one time.
Yeah. And so because the cohorts of the classes are smaller, it gives more opportunity for those students maybe to ask more questions, because we have a big Q&A at the end of all of ours, right? And so instead of 1,800 students that we're presenting to in one big presentation, where maybe some of them are a little maybe they don't want to say anything to embarrass themselves in front of their peers. It's much easier for them to do it in smaller cohorts, so that the teachers and
questions
the
out of
principals,
it.
yeah, so there was a positive there. So it might be interesting to see that some of these schools who actually had us in person, and I would be surprised if here on in they just say, let's stick with virtual. It's
cheaper all around.
It is cheaper, but number two, maybe it's just a little bit more intimate, right? And the way that you've designed the studio, I mean, it's pretty cool, right? We're using top notch. And what's the difference for those people who are watching right now? We're not using Zoom. We're not using Teams. We're not using Blackboard. We're using a system right now.
Well, I mean, most of those platforms are meeting platforms, so they're designed for you to go in, and then people come in with their camera and audio as well, and you have a virtual meeting. And those are meeting platforms, where we use more of a webinar platform, which is more designed as a presenter reaching to a community. So you can have, I guess an issue with a Zoom meeting is like, you can't host like 1,000 people, right? Because you can't have 1,000 people connect with their cameras, or even 50 people, which you can imagine the logistics of trying to, make sure you mute your mic, turn off your camera. It's like, there's a lot of like management if you're trying to, people I've seen, and we've worked with organizations trying to make Zoom meetings in a webinar format, and it just doesn't work.
No, that's where Zoom bombing and other things come into play, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we're using a platform right now, but we've decided to move to an even better platform, right? So, and the quality, I mean, this is like 1080. We could push out at 4K if we wanted to, right?
No one allows for 4K.
Right.
No, I mean, there's probably one or two, but no service allows. And plus, consumers can't stream 4K.
Right.
People who live in places don't have strong internet connection. You don't want to, cut them out of the market.
Yeah, but this is really cool what you've done. I mean, it's 1,200 square feet. We've got 2 sets. I mean, multiple camera angles. It looks like CNN or CBC News in here, right? It's just amazing. Yeah, it's just amazing. He's got a green screen, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's just amazing what it is you've done, right? And so we're making the experience. We're trying to hit all modalities of learning, right? And that's what's really cool about what you've done here with the White Hatter Studio. So for us, COVID really pushed us, and we were moving that way anyways.
We've had the studio for 2 years now already.
But this really
But now it's been full time.
Yeah, and it's really expedited it, right? With what's going on with COVID. But I think post-COVID, this isn't going away, right? You got some really other cool ideas that you're going to be doing with the studio.
Oh, I got tons of ideas.
It's going to be really cool, right? So, anyways, good show.
Yeah.
Good show. I got Cal's name in there again.
Good job.
Got it in again. So, on behalf of myself, I'm Darren.
And Brandon, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.